always drawn to abandoned buildings and the stories they held within their walls. That's why I found myself standing in front of the old, decrepit jail that had been abandoned for years. It was said to be one of the most haunted places in the area, and I was determined to uncover its secrets. I pushed open the door and stepped inside, my flashlight illuminating the way. The air was musty and heavy with the scent of decay. The walls were covered in peeling paint and the floorboards creaked beneath my feet. I took a deep breath and started to make my way deeper into the building. As I explored the cells and hallways, I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. I tried to tell myself that it was just my imagination playing tricks on me, but the hairs on the back of my neck kept standing on end. Suddenly, I heard a sound that made my blood run cold. It was a low growl, like an animal, coming from one of the cells at the end of the hallway. I hesitated for a moment, but my curiosity got the better of me and I slowly approached the cell. The growling grew louder as I approached, and I realized with a start that there was something inside the cell. I shone my flashlight inside, and what I saw made my heart stop. There was a man, or what used to be a man, with wild eyes and ragged clothes. He was covered in filth and his hair was matted to his head. He was growling like a wild animal and he was glaring at me with a look of pure hatred. I stumbled backwards, my heart racing. I had heard the stories about this place, about the inmates who had been forgotten and left to rot in their cells. I had never believed them, but now I was face to face with the proof. The man let out a blood-curdling scream and launched himself at the bars of the cell, his fingers reaching for me. I turned and ran, my feet pounding down the hallway. I didn't dare to look back, I just ran as fast as I could. I burst out of the building and into the sunlight, gasping for air. I looked back at the jail, but there was no sign of the man. I was about to turn and run when I heard a sound behind me. I spun around and saw him, his eyes blazing with fury as he ran towards me. I took off again, running as fast as I could. I didn't stop until I was miles away from the jail, my heart pounding in my chest. I looked back and saw that he was nowhere in sight. I thought I was safe, but I was wrong. Over the next few days, I was followed by a shadowy figure that was always just out of reach. I tried to tell myself that it was just my imagination, but I couldn't shake the feeling that I was being watched. One night, I woke up to find the man standing at the foot of my bed. I screamed and bolted upright, but he was gone in an instant. I was too scared to go back to sleep, so I stayed up all night, staring at the door and waiting for him to come back. It wasn't long before I was proven right. The man appeared again, this time in the middle of the day. He was always just out of reach, always just around the corner, always just beyond my grasp. I was going crazy, I couldn't take it anymore. I had to find out who this man was and why he was following me. So, I went back to the jail, back to the source of my terror. I needed answers. I stepped inside the jail once again, my heart pounding in my chest. I made my way down the familiar hallway, searching for any clues about the man who had been haunting me. I finally came across a dusty old ledger, hidden away in a corner. As I flipped through the pages, my heart sank. There was a photo of the man, and his name was listed next to it. He had been a prisoner in the jail, but he had never been accounted for after a prison break. The authorities had searched for him, but he was never found. I realized with a start that he must have been trapped inside the jail all these years, forgotten and left to rot. He must have been the one who had been following me, driven mad by his years of isolation and desperation. I gathered up the ledger and raced out of the jail, not stopping until I was miles away. I knew I had to turn the information over to the authorities and put an end to this once and for all. But as I reached for my phone to call the police, I felt a hand grab my shoulder from behind. I turned to face the man, but he was gone. In his place was only a cold, empty silence. From that day on, I was never the same. I was haunted by the memory of the man, and the knowledge of the horrors that had taken place within those walls. I never returned to the jail, but I knew that the spirits of those who had been forgotten would always linger within its walls, waiting for their next unsuspecting victim.